All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to tackle a really core concept in SAP Convergent Invoicing, the Billable Item Class, or as you'll hear it called, the BIT Class. This thing is basically the engine that makes all that complex unified billing actually happen. So we're going to break down exactly how it works.
I mean, it seems so simple, right? But seriously, have you ever really stopped to think about the puzzle behind it? How on earth does a company pull all those different charges, from totally separate systems by the way, and get them to play nice on one bill? That's the magic we're getting into.
And really, this all boils down to what's known as the Convergent Billing Challenge. This is the fundamental problem that a powerful system like SAP Convergent Invoicing is designed to crush.
Okay, think about your phone company, right? They've probably got one system tracking every single call. Then there's another system completely separate that's handling your data plan. The data coming from these two places, it's like oil and water. The structure's different, the format's different, but somehow it all has to come together on that one bill you get every month. That is the challenge we're talking about.
So the big question is, how does SAP actually solve this? Well, the answer is this amazing concept that's basically the master blueprint for all the billing data. And that, my friends, is the Billable Item Class.
Okay, the official definition. It's a little dry, a bit technical, but let's just cut through the noise. A BIT class is basically the rule book. It's the master plan that tells the system exactly what the data should look like, how it should be structured, and precisely how to store every single charge that comes through the door.
And this is the key takeaway, the big analogy you need to remember. A BIT class is a custom-designed blueprint. Just like a blueprint for a house, it lays out every single detail of how your billing information is going to be billed and organized inside SAP.
And this visual here just shows it perfectly. See that? You've got raw data flowing in from some external system. The BIT class is that template in the middle, creating the exact database tables it needs for raw items, for billable items, and for the ones that have been built. It sorts and stores everything with total precision. Every single charge gets its own custom blueprint.
Now here's what's so cool about this. SAP doesn't just give you a pre-built, one-size-fits-all house. Nope, they give you the architect's tools. It's up to you, your company, to design and create your own BIT classes from scratch. And that's because every single business has totally unique billing needs. Okay, so if we're the architects, what can we actually put in this blueprint? What are the different rooms and features we can design? Let's dive into the anatomy of a BIT class.
At its core, the blueprint is built from four main parts, or record types. The first one, IT for main items, that's the foundation of the house. It's mandatory. You literally can't build anything without it. Then you get to add the optional rooms depending on your needs. Need to handle credit cards? You add a PY room for payment data. Have to deal with pre-calculated taxes? You build a TX room. And for any extra notes or descriptions, you've got the TT room for text.
All right, theory is one thing, but let's see this in action. Why would you actually need different blueprints? Let's walk through 3 real-world examples that show why one size absolutely does not fit all.
Okay, example 1, a web shop. Someone buys something online, they punch in their credit card info. Well, the blueprint for that sale has to have that PCI room, right? You need a place to store that payment card data.
Example 2. Let's go back to that telecom company. Let's say their external system already figures out the taxes on a call before it even gets to SAP. To handle that, their blueprint needs that special TX room, a dedicated space designed specifically to import and store that tax info.
And for our last example, what if a company is using SAP's own charging system, SAP Convergent Charging? Well, for that you need a very specific, specialized blueprint. One that has all the interfaces already built in to make the communication between the two systems totally seamless.
And this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? All business examples have different requirements with regard to the database structure. It just hits the nail on the head. Every scenario is different, so every scenario needs its own custom blueprint. That's the bottom line.
Okay, so we've established we're the architects. We're building these blueprints. But how? What does that process actually look like? Let's do a quick run-through of the steps from that first sketch to a fully working, activated BIT class. It's a really structured step-by-step process. First, you pick your components. That's like choosing the rooms for your house, like saying, I need a payment room. Then you can add your own custom fields for anything unique to your business. After that, you decide how you want to store the data, kind of like setting up your filing cabinets. And then the big moment. You run a check to make sure it all makes sense, and you hit activate.
That's the magic switch that generates all the database tables and interfaces, making your blueprint a real thing.
And here's what it actually looks like in the system. You can see this isn't just theory, it's a real configuration screen. See that status column? A class starts as in processing while you're building it. Then, once it passes all the checks, you activate it, and boom, it's active, ready to be used.
So, let's just tie this all together. Why does this matter so much? Because the BIT class is the absolute cornerstone of the whole thing. It lets you bill from multiple places on one invoice, it defines exactly what data you can store, it controls the entire life of a billable item, and maybe most importantly, it's a non-negotiable prerequisite. Without an active BIT class, billing simply doesn't run. Period. End of story.
So, if there's just one thing you remember from all this, what should it be?
It's this. They are custom-built blueprints, and these blueprints give you the power and the flexibility to handle pretty much any billing scenario your business can possibly imagine. They're not a limitation, they're an enabler.
And that's really the final question to leave you with. Now that you know about this blueprint concept, what billing challenges in your organization could you finally solve if you just designed the right one? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.